And sometimes I just think to myself, wouldn't it be better if we didn't know what the number on the bar was? If we didn't know what the actual resistance was. You didn't know that it was 200 kilos or 300 kilos or whatever. You just rock up. You have no idea. You don't even look at the plates. You just rock up and you do the thing. I think that would be more beneficial for our lifting than actually knowing and processing the mental side of this whole thing about this is so much weight, this is so little weight, why is this feeling heavy, why is this feeling light? I think you can feel, you can go both ways. You can feel really good about a certain weight. Say you get to, I don't know, 5 plates in a deadlift and it feels really, really light. And you're like, looking at the plates, you're like, man, this is 5 plates, it's moving so quickly. That's a positive effect on your psyche. But I think most of the time, especially when you're kind of going into that PR land, we can psych ourselves out. Like, the first time I did 6 plates on the deadlift, I was like, man, that's a lot of plates on the bar, man. It seems like it's so much heavier than just another 20 kilos from the previous, or whatever, 5 kilos from the previous PR. You can play on your mind. You kind of get almost intimidated. You get scared of the weight. Same thing as the last few days, man. Like, I had these 2 day shifts. So I was training at 4:30 in the morning, 5 o'clock. And the most I got to was 3 plates on the squat. Just feeling crap. Just everything feels heavy. Everything feels stiff. I just not in the mood for lifting at all. My body's just simply not ready. That's for the last 2 days. That's the feeling that I've had with training. And that kind of pissed me off, man. Because this is 3 damn plates, man. I know how 3 damn plates are supposed to feel. Why is it feeling so heavy? Why is it feeling like 5 plates? And that kind of has like this negative cycle of thoughts in your mind. And it just ruins the whole experience of training. I sometimes wish I didn't know what the weight on the bar was. I was just completely left in the dark. And I just come in and I just focus on the resistance that I'm feeling. Just the resistance. Because that's essentially what we need to train. Whether that be 5 plates or 2 plates, does not matter. It's the resistance that your body's feeling. That's the whole point. I know, a lot of us are like, okay, I got to hit 5x5 or 180. That's what I need to hit, man. But what if you rock up on a given day and you feel crap? That 5x5 becomes extremely difficult to achieve. A 5x5 that feels, a 180 one day could be a 160 another day. If you didn't know what the plates were on the bar and you were just focusing on the actual resistance, I reckon you'd be better off mentally. Especially on days like in the last few days that I've had, just feeling crap, everything's feeling heavy. And then today I rock up. I basically had 2 deload days in a way, although it didn't feel like a deload because the bar felt as heavy as 180. The only trouble was I was doing 140. Just felt tough. Everything couldn't stabilize my core. I felt weak throughout the posterior chain. Everything, the ankles were jacked, knees were jacked. Everything was just tight and weak. And so I left it at 140. I did a bunch of sets with that last few days. And today I've come in, I'm thinking, I'm still kind of feeling crap on the back of those 2 sessions. I come in today and I'm like, okay, bar, 60, 100, 140. And I'm just feeling explosive as hell. I'm feeling explosive as hell. Anyway, I got to 6 plates today, so I got to 260 kilos, which is basically 5 kilos off my PR. I wasn't happy with the rep. The rep was kind of slow off the bottom. I let my knees straighten out way too soon. And so it ended up being a freaking stiff-legged deadlift at that point. So I'm not happy how the thing moved, but what I am happy about is the fact that I felt good. You know what I mean? I kind of felt good today. And once again, I wish I didn't have that in my mind. I don't want to know. I really don't want to know. I just want to go about the damn business. I just want to go about the business and be left in the dark about what's in the bar. Because our mind, no matter what you do, man, it's always comparing. You're lucky if you don't compare yourself to others because that's just straight up toxin. That's just straight up poison to your mind. If you're comparing yourself to your neighbor or to somebody else or another lifter, if you do that, you're not going to last, man. That's just a whole lot of mental destruction because if somebody else gets ahead of you, you feel depressed. And if you get ahead of that somebody else, you're supposed to feel high, but instead of feeling high, you're looking at the next guy ahead of you. So you're always feeling negative. You're always kind of behind the 8 ball. Comparing yourself to somebody else is a bad mistake. compare yourself to yourself, that's a good idea, but even that has negative effects, because I remember how I felt when I hit 265. I was throwing the weights around. So as soon as I come in, I'm like, oh yeah, when I hit 265, 100 kilos felt a certain way. This doesn't feel a certain way. This feels something else. And so then, because you're constantly hitting the same weights over and over again, 60, 100, 140, 180, 220, 240, 260. Like you become connected to this weight. It's almost like you have a relationship with these damn numbers. So I know what 240 feels like. I know what 200 on the squat feels like. I know what 180 was supposed to feel like. And so sometimes, especially the first set when I'm doing squats, Jesus Christ, like that 5x5, the first set, you're always like, damn, it feels so heavy. Because last time you did a 5x5, you remember the last set, the fifth set. And that usually feels not too bad. You're warmed up, you're used to it. And so you walk away from the training session like, sick. Next time I come around, the first set is going to feel great. Nah, man, the first set always feels horrible. And so I have this relationship with these damn numbers. I know that Mr. 180, man. I know what's up with that. I know 200. I know 220. It's kind of like you always have these preconceived ideas of what the weight should feel like. Screw that. You don't know what you're dealing with. I wish that was the case. You were just left in the dark. You were blindfolded. You rock up and you just lift the damn thing. Some days you might be lifting 140. Other days you might be lifting 180. It doesn't matter. The resistance is the resistance. That's the only thing that matters. I really wish that was the case, because you will at least give us respite mentally. Because the last few days I'm just unhappy, bothered that I wasted 2 sessions. That's how it feels. But I still got some work in. I still came in and the bar felt slow and whatever. I still tried fairly good effort. Maybe not as much work as I do when I do 180, but I felt like I got pretty close to it. The only difference is the damn weights on the bar are not the same. I don't know. I always think about this, I don't think it's good to get too high or too low in life. When things are going great, man, like, it's okay, man, just chill. Chill, because that's going to help you when you hit a rut, when you hit a negative portion in your life, a low. Because if you go really, really high, you're going to go really, really low as well. And those lows, man, they're tough to deal with. It's tough to process them mentally. For every high, there's an equivalent low. So if you don't get as high, you're not going to get as low either. That's kind of how I think about all of these things. Because I know how I felt with 265. I was like, yeah, man, I wish every day could be like this. But it's not. Man, those days are like 1 in 30. 1 in 30 where you come in, you feel like you can just bend the damn bar with your hands. Those are very, very, very situations. From my point of view, man, it's just frustrating. Like today I had a good day, right? It was a good day. Like I said, 260 didn't go as well, but the fact that I put 260 in the bar and I lifted it, that means to me, Ivan, man, you felt real good today. You go within 5 damn kilos of your PR. That's, and when was the PR? 10 days ago now? 7 days ago now? Or something like that? And I'm already hitting 260. Again, for a second time. So I just wish there was no up and down. It was just about the business. And I think when you become a professional, like a professional mind, when you become this focused being of getting the work done, and that is a beautiful thing. Because no matter what you do in terms of the results, you're here to do business. You are a businessman. You're coming in to get those damn sets and reps. The intensity does not matter in terms of the weight. Whatever the body gives, you take. You don't take what the body doesn't have. Because if you do that, and you do it again the next time and the next time, the body just might just snap. And then you start repaying debts. Maybe a month, maybe 2 months, maybe unpayable debt. If you snap a spine, okay, if you snap a femur, something like that, right? You might not ever repay that debt ever again. So be very, very careful how much you withdraw per day. If you rock up and your body's like, man, we're good for 180, and you try and withdraw 185, you might get away with that, man. But the interest on those suckers are going to be very, very high. Because next time around, you come in, you're like, oh, I'm good for 185, and you take 190. There becomes an expectation for you to kind of overshoot the symptoms that your body's giving you. then you start developing a mentality that that's okay. That's a very dangerous spot to be, man. You know, I've always said to you guys, and I always feel this is the correct thing to do. There is no point of grinding, breaking form in training. If you do that, make it like so freaking rare. There's no point. If the bar slows down at a given weight, don't add weight, man. Because you know if you're adding weight, you're just going to be grinding. Okay, you can grind, but it's not a competition. It doesn't matter. The training business is if you have that business mentality of just coming in and getting the work done, if you're like a workman kind of mentality, that's a beautiful, safe place to be at, man. Because no matter what, you don't care about the plates on the bar. You just focus on the work. I think that's kind of what's been my mentality the last few days. That's kind of been the self-talk, the thought process. You know, this whole idea about RPE, rate of perceived exertion, this like scale from 0 to 10, or maybe from 5 to 10. 10 being there's no more reps in the tank, 9 being you have 1 more rep in the tank, 8 being 2, and so on and so on. This idea that it allows biology to coexist with your training. You rock up, you warm up, okay? And you're like, geez, man, I reckon I was good for maybe another rep. Don't add weight. You know, some of these, yesterday and the day before, man, some of those sets, man, I was like, Jesus Christ, it just doesn't feel good for whatever reason. You and I can discuss this until the cows come home, what caused it. The bottom line is my body wasn't fit to load the weight that I thought I could load. Maybe this comes with experience, with maturity, but I just went, okay, all right. We're not on today. Let's just shave the weight off the bar and just go about feel. Okay, how does 140 feel? 140 feels like some 170 days. On another day, you might feel like a 170. I think the frustration that we have is that biology is this non-linear, wavy, and the waves can be really small or really long. And then, you know, the more you advance, these waves, these oscillations on this graph, this biological graph, if we somehow to kind of graph biology, they're these like big waves. So there's a peak and there's a trough. It's like up and down. The only thing you can hope is that there's like a gradient to that wave. So over time, over the space of like a long period of time, maybe like 6 months or a year, there's progress. But focusing on a peak and a trough of a kind of microcycle of that wave is very demeaning, because you know, if you expect it to be a linear line from start to finish, that could be an easy thing to process mentally, but it's not. Some days you come in and you're like, man, I'm supposed to do this, but I can't, because you're on the way down, you're sloping down on that wave. As long as you kind of understand that, I think you'll be good. So, you know, when you come in and you think about this wave, think about the waves, okay? And you come in, bar feels heavy. That's cool. You just say to yourself, I'm sliding down the wave. Like I'm surfing this damn wave and I'm going down now. That doesn't mean you just continually just nosedive into the damn earth, through the water into the damn earth, and end up in some like, on the other side of the globe. That's not going to happen. Nothing devastating like that is going to happen. You go down with it and you expect the water to lift you up again. And that's it. That's the bottom line. It's tough, you know. This is the mental side of the game, man. Like, you know, the highs and the lows. And that's life as well, man. That's life as well. You can't always win. So the people that kind of quit, especially the beginners, when they feel that first kind of downslope in the wave, they don't know enough to understand that there's going to be another up. That's just the way it is, man. It sucks. Sometimes it sucks. And sure, you can do many different things to control the depth of those waves. You know, ultimately we want a really shallow wave kind of graph. Ideally, you want a straight line, but this doesn't work like that. There's so many different variables at hand, and we've spoken many times about all the different variables that we have to deal with: stress, sleep, food, social, freaking economic structures around us. All these things impact us in many different ways. And on top of all of that, there's also like hormonal processes happening in our body. If you're a freaking woman, Jesus, man, on top of all of that, you've got like these cycles, menstrual cycles, man, like damn, you know, there's so many things happening. And, you know, a lot of people say that men also have these cycles. It's just forms a different wave and maybe a different frequency, different kind of periods, I guess, mentally, physically. I don't know what happens. My wife tells me all the time, she's like, sometimes you have these moments as well where you kind of not feeling the greatest and there's no explanation. And I always tell her, man, like if training is going well, I'm going well. If it's going crap, I'm kind of like deep in thought. I don't want to engage as freely as usually because I'm just so deep in damn thought trying to work out this damn thing, man. It's almost like I can't eat the next meal, man. I can't go to the toilet and have a shower until I work the shit out of my head. But, you know, these working out processes sometimes freaking take months on end with consecutive freaking experiments, back-to-back experiments with all these different muscles and movements and all these different things. So there's many, many different things that impact us. And it's very hard to freaking map all this shit out. The bottom line is, man, you just have to take it all on board, take it on the chin, on the chest, whatever you want to say, and just hold on for dear life for that ride. As long as you keep rocking up, you have that consistency, the slope is going to be upwards no matter what the hell you do, man. No matter what the hell you do, if you keep rocking up, just hold on and enjoy the damn ride. Enjoy the lows, enjoy the highs, enjoy the whole lot. Adam Gayer, appreciate you, man. You're the latest name on the list. Patreon list is growing every single day, it seems. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to know that there's so many people like me out there, man, trying to work out their own puzzles, trying to feed off the community. I also feed off the same damn community, and we're always, putting all these ideas. And today I was at the gym, man, and like I didn't catch any of this stuff, but there was this one guy. Oh man, he's a rookie muffin, man. He's a rookie muffin. You can see it. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He went to squat and like that's probably the worst freaking squatting I've ever seen in my entire life, man. I'm talking like he's got those Nike Air Pockets shoes, whatever the hell they're called, Air Maxes. I don't know what the hell they're called. They're like new spongy looking things. His feet are turned out like 70 degrees. He's squatting. His knees are fully buckled in. This is just an empty bar. The dude maybe weighs 50 kilos. His knees are fully buckled in, and as he goes down, his toes start to slip. If you can picture this squat, full knee valgus, major toe point out, and he starts to slip because he's just so freaking unbalanced, and the shoes are basically trying to fly off underneath him. And then I'm having a discussion in my mind. Do I walk up to this guy and be like, hey man, please stop, man, like, either you stop, I'm calling the damn ambulance, man, because you're going to kill yourself. Luckily, he didn't put any more weight on. He just left it. He did a whole bunch of sets with the bar. He left and did some deadlifts. Deadlifts didn't look too bad. But like, I just wanted to go over and like tell him all these different things. But then you're like, I don't want to be that guy who forces knowledge upon others, man. Like, who walk around like trying to, get people into my cult of, oh, this is how you're supposed to squat. Like, I don't want to be that guy. I wish he looked at me and saw my maybe easily approachable character and be like, oh, dude, can you help me out? He never saw me squat. He never saw me do anything. I was at the bench press at the time. But this is where the whole community, like, I don't think he's in the community at all. Like, he's just one of those fresh guys starting his journey. But I think being part of a community like this online, we share ideas. And just like I was looking at him squat, I like to watch people squat, man. I go on YouTube and I just type in squat and I go last week. And I just try to filter out all the top channels doing stuff, talking and whatever. I'm just trying to watch like squatting. That's what I got on Instagram, like guys basically squatting. And I just look at pros squat. And sometimes on YouTube, you can actually find people who are not very good at squatting. And then you sit there, this is me anyway. I sit there and I'm like, what is going on with this guy, man? Like, what could I tell him? Which exercise could I tell him to improve his squat, to become more upright, to get the knees, to the ankles, hips better? And that's what my mind does. And so I'm watching other people and I'm trying to think about their problems. And then as I'm working out their problems in my mind, I'm also thinking about my problems. And that's what this community is, man, where it's all the same thing, man. We all have problems. Some of us have similar problems. Other people have completely different problems. So much variation in, how our body's built and whatnot. But it's a beautiful thing. And the fact that you guys support me like that, and the fact that I know there's a lot of people like you out there who think about the same thoughts as me, is just, it's almost like, it's a happy thought to know that I'm not the only one freaking thinking about this. And I never thought I was going to be the only one thinking about all these things. But the fact that you guys also experiment and trial things and do things man, that puts a smile on my face, because when you think you are the only one doing something, you kind of think you're crazy, but there's a lot of you guys out there doing the same thing as me. Anyway, I'm ranting now. I could go on for 10 days, but just wanted to say I appreciate all of you guys on the Patreon list, on the YouTube comments, on the Instagram. Guys, thank you. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.